Again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us. Hopefully, we'll definitely bring some value with the content that we're about to go over. Today's theme is the all about workflows, gated workflows in Microsoft Planner and the PPM 365 tool. Again, you can post all your questions right into chat, and we'll address them as they come up. If you can't, miss any portion of this webinar, there's always a replay on our YouTube channel. I will post all the links into the chat also for you. Again, please, subscribe and like. We're always posting some new content onto the channel. There's always a playlist of all our previous webinars, live webinars, tips and tricks that we recorded on there. So definitely visit our channel. And if you would like to schedule a one-on-one demo that's really specific to your use case, definitely reach out to us and we could certainly do that for you. Now, without further ado, I'd like to turn this over to Alex, and we'll start our webinar on the gated workflows.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks, Yuri, for the intro. Thanks for the folks for joining us today, and happy to see some familiar faces. I mean, not the faces, but I remember the faces too. Some of the folks here. Hi, Byron. Good to meet you, former co-PQber, fellow PQber, back in the day. Well, good to see some new faces here, some old faces here. Thanks for joining. Hopefully, I'll be able to teach something new for you over there. But anyway, thanks guys for stopping by. We're happy to have you here. I'm gonna share my screen now, and I'm gonna get underway. So, Yuri, can you confirm that you see my screen?
Yes, I see the screen, the PPM 365.
Yes. Yeah. So, thanks, guys. Again, we're here going to be solely focusing on the governance and the workflow and steps and what we can do and what kind of options we can have, and trying to do as much as we can within allocated time we have here. So let's get going. So we would start with the initial intake process. So here is part of our solution for the Power Apps here called PPM 365 Planner for Business. We have all kinds of options here. We're going to start with the project request. So this project intake process, project request, project intake, ideation, people call it different names, you name it. But here we have the list of, in this case, active requests, and then we can look at those inactive requests. Any which way, these are the requests, ideas or intake requests that are coming in, and then they follow into this process. So you can look into an existing one, or we can create a new one. And as part of the new, click on a new, and as part of the new request, we have this this governance. In this specific case, we have only 3 stages. Some companies have multi-stage process. We just try to keep it simple for the purpose of the demo. I'm just going to say this is CRM phase 1. These are all AI helping us to come up with some of these names. I'm going to add some details. I agree with that. Put some business case, and I'm going to put some budgets. And this is just, I'm coming up with these numbers just to kind of get through this process. So once we, okay, so let's do the phase 2. You can see I was practicing, huh? So we're gonna, we can save this, and now we can just talk a little bit more about this process. And it may seem like it's very simple, but we already baked into some of these processes some additional steps that you don't necessarily see, but we will kind of go through this together. So you can make some of these fields to be filled out right on the stage of this workflow. So we're now at the new stage, right? So we can add more fields, and this is basically a repetitive field from the major form, the main form. So we have the business case here, and we have a business case here. Basically, this is the same field. We just pushed it out to the workflow window. So we kind of emphasize a little bit more on that specific metadata while we are on this stage. But this is how we can, focus on certain metadata while we're on certain stages. And sometimes it's not just one field. And I'm going to add something else, maybe make sales process better, right? I mean, some kind of a business case, and you can see this is reflected already in this form, and we can move to the next workflow stage. Here on this stage, we do have a couple more fields. Well, some of this is already repetitive, but here we would like to emphasize on the benefits. Maybe you would like to have something like a mandatory field to be here, and this would kind of enforce you to enter this field. But you can also see there's a little button here. So what we can do as part of the governance, as part of the workflow step, we can enter this action, right? And that's in control of whoever is managing this process, whoever actually has permissions to manage this governance step, and whoever can have access to execute that. So once we click on execute, and there was a little help here saying send an email to request intake review. So basically, what we're trying to recreate the scenario where you have initial idea, in this case CRM phase 2. Let's make it a phase 2. And here, what we would like to do, would like to request an email review, and we can also specify a person who this review will be sent to. In this case, it's going to be sent to the owner, which is in this case me. But you can substitute this with anyone else in the organization and pull it from Active Directory and put the right business owner of that potential review to be entered here, and then that email will be addressed to that specific person. So once we hit on this, we can also say, please review ASAP, and hit the execute. Right. Once we get this confirmation checkbox over here, and you can already see, if I switch to my email, I got this request and say, hi, yada, yada, please review the following request. There's a convenient link to this request over here. I can click on this link and I can get to my request, and I can basically, oh, you know what? I like the idea. It's great. Very good. And we're going to just push it to the next stage. What we don't see, once we push it to the next stage, I am the reviewer and approver in this case. I am pushing this to the selected stage, which is basically creating a project for this request. So this request now went through these simple steps here and then turned into a project. And I can even review here, I can refresh here, and I'll see how this project field is going to be populated automatically. So let's just review this here. There we go. So now this request is matured and finished at this point. So we can now work in the project governance workflow stage. So all the steps that I just mentioned, just for the intake, and we're going to start looking into the project governance in a second. But all these steps that I just mentioned are completely configurable, customizable. I would say just configurable. And if we have enough time, I can show you a little bit how you can quickly massage this messaging or emails. You can change the content of these emails a little bit and make it more custom and things like that. So we can push this additional actions, throughout the workflow. If you like to send other emails to certain people that you meant that are part of the metadata, say whoever last modified this, or who is the business sponsor, or maybe a budget sponsor, or project manager. You can have a different messaging for all these people. Speaking of which, there's also a message along the creation, right after the creation of this project. There's also a message that was sent. So let's just go to my email, and I got a new email saying the project was created, and I can either click on this project and get there, and I can work on my project. So this is basically when you have a project manager getting this email saying, hey, the new project was created, and you're a project manager, and you can say something else saying that, hey, please go ahead and start building the schedule and things like that. So going back to, actually, let's go ahead and click on that, and it will land us on this new project. We can get to here either by clicking it through email, or if we go back to our initial request, this is where we were, and I can click on this. It will then land us on the same place, or we can go to our list of projects, and we can find, this is the project. You can see 1/15 is today's date, is where this project is landed, and we can get to the same exact place through different routes, right? So now we're at the project. So we used to have the project request, and actually, if I scroll down, I will see that project request historically. So if I need to reference what was the intake, what was the request from which this project was created, you can see some respective project IDs are created, and now this is part of our project portfolio. All right. So what do we do now? We also have similar concept. Well, obviously I'm on all the different attributes and all kinds of tasks and whatnot. We have here part of the planner. At this point, just going to create a quick task just to have some sort of a timeline. Very, very simple, 12 days, very short kind of thing. And refresh just to kind of have this calculated a little bit here. All right, so the governance. So we have this workflow that is assigned to this project. You may also consider assigning different types of workflows based on the type of the project. Say for some simpler projects, you may have certain workflow types. For some of the projects, more complex projects, you may want a more advanced, more rigorous process as far as governance. So once we go through the stages and click on our initial stage, we also see that some of this fields and metadata traveled from the initial request to this project, including the business case and things like that. Going through the stages, we have different requirements to go through the stages. We may have additional approvals if we need to. For the purpose of this demo, one additional step that I'd like to kind of take a look at and show it to you is this entrance to the execution. So once we enter the execution, you would get an email and appropriate people, and you can configure what those people are would get notified. So here's another notifications. Hi, the project CRM phase 2 entered execution stage, right? So you can configure and say, let's just say on entrance or upon the exit of certain workflow stage, you may want to perform a certain action. In this case, the action is to send an email to notify a project manager, hey, we entered execution stage. Maybe you want to notify portfolio manager that the project entered the execution stage. This way, you kind of automate some of this communication and help this communication to go out without necessarily, writing emails about everything all the time, because we only have limited time during the day. Again, all kinds of convenient links already entered here. There's also tell you the business case. Also tells you additional information like value statement, the budgets and when it was entered in, at this stage, things like that. So you have a little bit more options to go about. What I'd like to also mention here, it's probably need to be refreshed because I don't know. And you can move through the stages and create certain actions, make some of the things mandatory. Say you need to have the project manager or some of the fields are mandatory at a certain workflow stages in order to be moved or finished. Right, you can't finish it without having a project manager assigned. And again, some of these are just example to show some of these features, but you kind of get the idea what kind of things can be done within the project. Please do send us a question in Q&A. I think there's a way to do this in the webinar. If you're watching this on YouTube, please put your questions in the comments. We'll try to update and reply to all those questions. What I would like to also show you a couple other things. So one of the things I'd like to show you, I'm just gonna go back to the list of requests and say, what if we're running our yearly budget and we need to approve and create hundreds, tens of hundreds of different projects at a time and turn them into, we approve hundreds of requests, project requests at the time, and then turn them into projects. So you can do it in bulk as well. So you may say, you know what, all these projects, and you can just say, select all, or select a bunch, or hold your shift and then select another bunch, and then use this workflow, a step that is also available as part of your flow over here. And you can say create projects, from this project request. What this will do, and I'm just not going to do it for all of them, but I'm going to do it for, let's just say 3 of them over here. I'm going to say, hey, go ahead and create projects for all these 3 requests, right? This way, I am doing this action in bulk, and I can approve and create chunks of these requests and turn them into projects. As part of my PMO, say annual budgeting cycle, I may want to be able to do that. And you can see, I go to my emails, I would say project with this and such was created. Another project was created. So you can see some of these notifications started trickling. Also, I may want to show you a couple other things that you can do. Let's just say you are entering a certain stage of your projects and certain chunks of projects. Say this, phase 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that's not, maybe that's not a good example, but this project, this, and this, 5 projects entered the execution stage. Or you may predefine some of the communication with your stakeholders ahead of time, bake this email, draft this email, select your portfolio items, your projects that you're looking at to communicate about, and use the same kind of concept. So now in projects, we can say, hey, these projects entered execution stage. And I'd like to send a notification to the right appropriate people. Remember, you may say one type of message can go to the project manager, another type of message can go to the portfolio manager, another type of message may go to the business owner, to the business manager, right? So different audiences may get different messages, but that process may kick off all this communication, right? For all these projects. One push of a button, the communication is out. Already pre-drafted, already pre-brushed and ready to go. So if I look at, see all these notifications went out. Well, that was the rest of the project that were created. And now this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects in the entered execution stage. And I'm just showing it all addressed to me. Again, this is just for the purpose of this demo to show that all these messages went out with me pushing one button. So this is how we can use governance and portfolio governance for the purpose of efficient communication, for the purpose of putting the framework and governance rules around how do we manage our projects, how we go about approvals of those projects, how do we go about communicating at different stages of the project and things like that. Not to say you can always create additional rules to hide or show certain metadata based on the workflow stage. I think at this point, I'd like to show you a little bit of how quickly we can update one of those emails that were sent out. So I'm going to look at this this step called project execution kickoff email, and this is where I can show you quickly how you can update this email. So you can see this is the email with some of the dynamic information on it, and we can say from who we send this email to who we send this email. We can copy somebody if we want to. We can make this project and then project name, execution started. That's just a framework within which we work, but it's easily updatable. We can put some additional text, we can put some pictures, we can add some attachments to it. We can do a lot of things to those emails and make it really, really, really tailored towards what we need, and really dial into those communications and make it really authentic. All right, so that's all I wanted to show today, and I think we're right about at the end of the webinar time.
Yeah, getting close to it. We don't have any questions at this point. So yeah, this was great. Thank you, Alex.
I know maybe Byron has a question over here. Feel free, raise your hand if you want. We can drag you into the webinar over here. You want to? I will just allow it to talk.
So hello there.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. How are you doing?
Good. And yourself?
Very
Guys are
good.
keeping busy, I see.
Yes. Remember, this is the webinar. Would you like to open a question? Put a question on the table and talk about something specific.
So is this an entire package that you guys deploy?
Yes.
So if someone subscribes to it, you deploy it.
Yes. All these workflows, all these template emails. We basically do releases every now and then, and we have additional, risk identification going on based on industry. So some of those will also come in. But yeah, there's a lot to unpack, including the resource packages, and I almost forgot the reports. That we have available. I guess it wasn't this webinar is not dedicated to reports, but yeah.
What about different points of integration, whether it's with Project Online or Project or Jira?
So for the integration, we have our own solution called Friday Report, and that it is online, SaaS integration solution that we use for all of our integrations. That integrates Dataverse as a whole with into the data warehouse, and then anything in it like Jira, Project Online falls into that place as well. I think we have a couple of webinars coming up about that, and we already had one of those that we discussed that already. But yeah,
So is
integration.
the pricing by user subscription based, or is it?
I usually this is rolled into our managed services package.
Okay.
So the way usually we work, we license some of these our products, and then that rolls into our managed services, which is yearly subscription, basically.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that includes all kinds of help desk, includes unlimited tickets, and we're gonna take care. We take care of keeping the lights on and making sure it's alive and working as expected.
So folks are responsible for plan 3, plan 5, those kind of things, or you guys include that as part of your subscription?
So that's not part of our subscription. Our subscription includes our product licensing and
Okay.
and managed services. In this case, not everybody needs P5, and P3, for that matter. So some of the folks might not even need P license at all if the scheduling is not of a concern. So we can technically run our product without the P licenses. That's usually on case by case basis. But yeah, customers are usually taking care of the licensing from Microsoft perspective, which is usually the Power Apps license and P licenses as needed.
That makes it kind of attractive if you're not charging for licenses for people to come in and view and poke around.
Yes, correct. And again, not all, not everyone needs P licenses, and even if you need a P license, it's not that it's not a lot of people need it. So yeah, what we're looking for is to do as much as we can within Power Apps here that allows you to run your PMO and PPM application without necessarily running P licenses, which will require you to look into the planner kind of things, right? And planner and scheduling, right? If you don't need this piece, for example, this specific piece, you can run all of this without P licenses.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. It's good chatting with you, and maybe we can work something out together.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Yuri, do we have anything else? If not, we can wrap this up. Yeah.
You can reach out to us at info@trusteditgroup.com and subscribe to the channel. And these are we try to get these webinars, put them together live every other Wednesday around same time. So keep an eye on your email for the next one. Thank you.
All right.